guys, it's Lexi. I hope you're all doing well. It is currently Monday the 24th. I'm really hoping to get this video up today, fingers crossed. I have a bunch of empties to share with you. These are my empties from the vintage Halloween themed melting basket that I posted at the beginning of this month. It has been a super busy month of working weddings and engagement sessions and every other kind of shoot because of the beautiful like fall foliage here that everybody just wants to book. So I've been crazy busy with work, but I have found time to melt a lot of wax. So that's great. And this month for me was like an amazing melting month. I don't know if it's because I had my AC off and like no heat on yet and just kind of like letting, you know, the heat from the house just like kind of do its own thing in here. You know what I mean? Like nothing is running. So air is kind of, not to be weird, but like stagnant. It's kind of just like stale in here, but I feel like it's helping the scent just like work even better. So I've had a really great month of melting. And like I said, it's Monday, so we still have like a week before Halloween, and I am planning on doing another melting basket that is still going to be Halloween themed because I still have a ton of like newer Halloween wax that I haven't even dug into yet. Just all the stuff that I've been hauling, haven't even touched because I've been working on the old stuff first. So overall, I did finish a ton, as you guys can see here, just like bags and bags and bags of wax and stuff that is empty. Two things that I worked on but didn't finish, which I will talk about first. And then another thing I should mention is today, like I said, I've been busy, so this is like my one day that I've been able to like kind of catch a little bit of a break here. So I am filming like 6 videos today. So if you guys are interested, I also am going to have a Rose Girls haul, a Southbound combined haul, a bathing garden haul that I'm hopefully going to be able to film today, that melting basket coming up for like this next week, and then my non-wax empties, which I did film earlier but really need to edit because that was like a late night trying to take the recyclables out, running out of room of like storing my recyclables. So tons of stuff coming up if you guys are interested in watching any of that. But let's jump into my empties first, the two like non-empty kind of things. I have 2 L3 Waxy Wonders. This is today's October 3rd. This was like a Bitty Betty loaf that I chopped up, and it was newer. This wasn't one of like the older things that I had, but I've been trying to put my attention on melting my L3 Waxy Wonders within the first year that I get it. So I melted this on October 3rd. I also watched Mean Girls, and it was like a whole vibe. I loved it. This scent is Palo Santo Toasted Mallow Sugar Cookie Royale. It is incredible. I feel like I know for a fact that I've melted this in the past before, and I can't remember if I melted this in a blend of something else. But this was maybe the first time that I tried it like purely on its own. I think obsessed with this. Maybe it wasn't. I just can't remember, but I don't feel like I loved it as much as I did this past time. I was just like totally smitten with the scent. It was like delicious and like made me hungry, but like had like this beautiful like warmth because of the palo. It just was so good. There's massive hype around the scent. There's been a hype for forever, for a good reason. It's incredible. I loved every second I melted, and I have more left, so I'm gonna put it in my next melting basket to enjoy more. I also have a loaf here from L3 Waxy Wonders that I ended up splitting up and putting throughout my entire downstairs. I put it in the bedroom, the office, the bathroom, I put it in every single warmer in my house one day, and it was like beautiful. And it really kind of, this scent here, which is Season of the Witch and Cranberry Sweater Weather, I don't even know if I said the name, and her Season of the Witch from L3 is apples and leaves blended together. I don't know what it is about the scent, but it really kind of invokes like those outdoor fall vibes, and it kind of brings it inside. And maybe it's the leaves, and maybe it was like the sweater weather, because I think sweater weather has like eucalyptus in it, and it's just like that fresh kind of crisp air kind of scent. It was really beautiful. It smelled like fall. It definitely wasn't like one of those like warm, cozy fall scents. It was like the fresh, outdoorsy, crisp, almost was like, smelled like my house was like clean and there was like a breeze kind of blowing through. It was like one of those kind of scents. It really was a wonderful, wonderful scent. And I did melt this last year, and I can say that the performance this year compared to last year was the same. So I'm not sure if that's because this isn't like a bakery scent that maybe has a better longevity, shelf life, or what the case was, but this did just as good this year as it did last year. Maybe it's also because I melted it in every single warmer, so it was just like overwhelmingly like great. Either way, really enjoyed it. I still have a lot more left to go of this, so I'll stick it in also my next melting basket coming up and maybe work on a little bit more, but I feel like next year that probably will still be good. And even if it's a little bit less than what it was, I'll still enjoy it. So happy with that. And then I have two things that are not wax, but wax related. Let me just kind of get this out of my bag, box, whatever you want to call this little container here. Two things of cotton cleanups from Scentsy. So I finished 2 entire bags of these, and my overall thoughts on the cotton cleanups are that I do enjoy them, and especially I enjoy them on nights where I'm feeling particularly lazy. So typically what I do is I take 2 cotton balls and I dump them into some kind of a container, and then I'll just like put that container in the freezer and pop out the wax and it's done. But when I'm feeling really, really lazy, these came in very handy because I just pop it in my warmers and then pop it into another warmer. And I felt like one of these soaked up like 2 dishes for me. And then afterwards I would like pop the top off and then flip it upside down and pop up like, scoop up like more, like 1 more dish. So I'd get like 3 soaks up per dish. I don't know if that makes any sense. I would get like 3 dishes worth of soaking up for 1 cotton cleanup. So it worked well, but I think for the price, I think I would probably just rather just like do the dumping method and just use like normal cotton balls. But both of these were like free as like a gift with purchase kind of a thing from Scentsy. So I didn't even pay for these. But for like the just quick, like the quickness and like the ease and not having to like stress about like going and dumping everything, you just kind of pop it in and like take it out when you're done. It was great for that. So went through 2 of those, happy with it, but maybe wouldn't like reach out and like buy more and more and more, but that's that. And then I have, let's talk about Scentsy, because I think this is the only other thing from Scentsy that I worked on this month. This is Halloween Town. It is just the most incredible scent. This one and Ghostly Greetings are like 2 of my favorite Scentsy scents of all time, even just not for the season, but for the season, it's like even better because it just smells like Halloween. It's like apples and cedarwood. I don't know what else is in there. A berry, right? Maybe is cranberry, I think is in here. It just is like so good. There's like this tartness, which I think it must be cranberry, right? There's like this tartness and like this like tree kind of outdoorsy quality, and like it's warm and it's just so good. I've talked about this a lot, so I won't go on and on, but really great performance. Lasts for like at least 2 days in my house, and always love that scent. It's in my club. I took it out for a second when it came back, and then I put it right back in. Love it. Such a good scent. I have a, I think these are called crumble cups, right? Maybe, from Wicks. And this is Zombie Snacks. This is a scent that I got in like the round robin when we did that. And it is scent notes of pumpkin souffle, baked pretzels, and waffle cone. And when I got this out of the round robin, it had a big crack in it. So I immediately stuck it in a polypropylene bag. And I honestly, I just took it out of the round robin because I didn't want anyone else to have to like, I don't know. I was just like, I'll take it, whatever. It's a cute label also. And it was cracked, so I didn't want to have to pass it along. And I did not expect much from this scent. To be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to perform great because I had the crack and whatever. And sometimes Wicks is a little bit on the lighter side for me. But this was beautiful. I enjoyed this. I put this in my office warmer one day, and I scattered the rest of it throughout my living room warmers and my 4 warmers here. And it just smelled like this delicious like fall bakery scent. I couldn't really say like exactly waffle cone, exactly pumpkin souffle, but it was just like this warm bakery kind of fall scent. I really enjoyed it. Maybe I would pick it up again if I saw it come around. There's Doughboy from Wicks, which if Doughboy and this were both in the same like launch, then I'd probably definitely go in and get some more of it, but that was a great scent. I was very surprised. Another one from Wicks, which also totally surprised me because, like I just said, Wicks sometimes was on the lighter side. This one, not at all. Both of these, this was definitely lighter than this one, but this one was so, so strong. And I gave it like an 8 out of 10 last year. and I would still give it an 8 out of 10 this year. It was very, very strong. It is Salem. So Salem is scent notes of apple cider, cedarwood, cherry, and cotton candy. And the two like strongest things in this are definitely like the cedar and the cherry. It almost smells like it's like a cherry wood. I don't know this. I know there's got to be like cherry wood trees or something like that, right? It just smells like, it's like very like tree heavy, and then you get like a touch of like the cherry, but it almost smells like it is part of like the wood. I don't know. It sounds weird. Another very cute label, Wicks, does the cutest label, some of the cutest labels for vendor wax I've seen. This one's got like little like witches hats and eyeballs in jars and stuff like that. So loved this one too. Great performance. No complaints there. Really, like this month was an exceptional month for melting. I have a ton of scents here from Midnight Daydream Wax Company, and I think I have one bag. So let me talk about this little sample one first. So this was a sample scent shot cup in Zombieland, which is orchard apples, amber, sandalwood, and haunted hayride. Haunted hayride is almost kind of like a grassy type scent, and I think I preferred his haunted hayride just when it's all on its own. I felt like it got a little bit like lost, and it really wasn't too strong. So Harrison is no longer in business, so I can't get that. But out of all the ones that I've tried from him, that wasn't like a total win, but I still really love his stuff and hope he comes back. Because, let me talk about, oh, there's one in here. This one, hold the phone. Like, this is so good. Okay, so it's Scary Cherry, which is cherries, chestnuts, and creamy nutmeg. I split this up. All of these 2-ounce scent shots, I split up, and I put one in each hot plate warmer in my kitchen warmer. So I have 2 hot plate warmers and like a little tiny Scentsy, like mini warmer. Sometimes I use that one. Sometimes I don't, because I feel like it truly doesn't perform like the best. But the hot plate warmers, I'll split these up and do 2 and 2. So that's what I did for a Scary Cherry. Didn't really think it was going, I liked how it smelled just like sniffing it on cold. Didn't think it was going to be like exceptional, but I popped it in just to use it. And it was insanely good. I'm going to have to like, I know Harrison's not in business, but I'm going to have to like go and figure out if another vendor can maybe dupe this for me or something, because the cherries, the chestnuts, and the creamy nutmeg, it just like, it was like this warm bakery scent, but it wasn't like a cherry, it wasn't cherry heavy. I don't know how to explain it. It was almost just like chestnuts and nutmeg, and it was just like warm and rich and smell like a bakery, but it wasn't, it was just so good. There was a little bit of cherry, but I felt like the cherry wasn't like cough medicine cherry, and it wasn't like candy cherry. It just smelled like a bakery, like almost like maybe like a freshly made pie, but it wasn't like distinctly cherry pie. It just kind of smelled like a warm pie and like just baked good heaven. It was exceptional. Amazing. I loved it. I'm so sad that I used it. I wish I had like a loaf of that. Knowing now, if I knew then what I know now about his stuff, I would have gotten like loaves and loaves and loaves before he went out of business. But like his stuff really, really, I loved. So this one is Extraterrestrial. I have this going right now. Did not want to melt this because I love both of these scents. So it's a mix of Intrigue and Alien. And Intrigue is a perfume type, which is, can't remember the name of the perfume, or the cologne. It's a cologne type. I'll leave it here if I can figure it out. And then Alien is the, was it Mugler, Terry Mugler perfume. That's the perfume that I've talked about before. That's the perfume I usually wear when I like go out at night. And it is just like the most beautiful balance of like my favorite cologne and my favorite perfume, and you put it together. This did exceptional. It's in my dining room or kitchen right now, and I love it. It just smells like perfume. It's just really a nice scent. Then this one is Mulberry Eve, which is Mulberry and All Hallows Eve. This one was on, like, out of all of his stuff, this was like one of the not favorites of the group. I put this in my bathroom like half one day at a time. I don't know what is in All Hallows Eve, but I didn't love it. I liked the mulberry, but I felt like whatever the All Hallows Eve was, it wasn't a personal favorite of mine. This one is Haunted Mansion. I've melted this one before. I also got this one in the round robin. It's ghostly vanilla with woodsy undertones. I love this scent. It really does remind me of like the Haunted Mansion, but there's something like kind of like clean and woodsy about this. It's like a clean, woodsy, vanilla kind of musty scent, but like musty in the best way. Definitely reminds me of like Halloween. Reminds me of Disney and the Haunted Mansion ride, so love that. Another one I got in the round robin, this is Ciderweb from Candles by Victoria. This one on cold did something totally different on warm. So on cold, it definitely wasn't very like cinnamon heavy. It was just more of like an apple cider, but like a more apple heavy apple cider. Not really super spicy. But then, okay, next I have Silver Shamrock from VCS, Vintage Chic Scents. And this is a mix of candy corn and cinnamon broom. I was really nervous about the scent. I put it in my office warmer and I was like, if I like it, I can leave the door open. If I don't, I can keep it closed. Just nervous over that cinnamon broom scent because cinnamon sometimes is like a little too much for me, but I felt like the candy corn really did help balance it. And this was a good medium performance in there, so I didn't hate it, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way to get more. But for what it was and how nervous I was, I'd say it was a success. So that was Silver Shamrock. I think there was 55 different varieties of empties and the 2 non-empties and then like these types, which is a lot. So we've got quite a few bags to go through. So let's start with these 4 small samples from the Bathing Garden. So not really a whole lot to talk about here because I did put these in either my bathroom warmers or my office warmers. And I feel like all of these were kind of similar in the way that they didn't like stand out a ton. Sleepy Hollow Breakfast. That one actually might have been in an office one day. I have Boozy Vlad, which I think that one, I don't remember that one. Ghost Toast, which that one I want to say was like a berried kind of a scent, kind of smelled fruity to me. And then Pagan Moon. This one was the standout. This one was almost like, I feel like there was like Marshmallow Fireside or something in this one. So this one was the most enjoyable out of all of them. But yeah, so that was all of those. Then I have that one scent, the Season of the Witch that I talked about in the loaf size, but by itself, which is the Apples and Leaves blend from L3 Waxy Wonders. I got this in the round robin as well, and this one I melted in my bedroom warmers one day and really enjoyed it. I do think I prefer, I mean, they're totally different vibes. This one on its own is an entirely different kind of vibe than that one with the Sweater Weather and Sweater Weather and Cranberry, because I feel like the Cranberry and Sweater Weather add like this tartness and this kind of more freshness, and then this one was more like sweet and earthy, and so together wonderful, beautiful blend. But I did really enjoy this one totally on its own, and it did perform really, really well in my bedroom warmer, so that was a win. I have one more scent from Midnight Daydream Wax Company. I want to say that I am like almost completely finished with all of his wax, which is heartbreaking because I love it. But this one was another huge standout from him. This one and the Scary Cherry were like 2 of my favorites this whole month. This is Haunted Pumpkin Patch, which is Dragon's Blood and Pumpkin Patch. And that oil, this was like a big souffle cup that I cut in 4 and split between my warmers in my living room. That pumpkin patch scent I was so nervous about because it smelled almost like a real gutted fresh pumpkin, and I was not really kind of vibing with that when I initially smelled this on cold, but then mixed with like that patchouli, like earthy Dragon's Blood blend, it just like smelled like you were at like a fall like festival. It smelled like a haunted, like a nighttime, like an adult Halloween activity. You know what I mean? Like maybe like a haunted forest or like a haunted hayride. I don't know. It's just like it was like a spooky kind of like nighttime. And I think it was because of the patchouli and the Dragon's Blood. And then the pumpkin that was like realistic, like it worked. I really like this one. It was kind of like it just smelled like Halloween as like an adult, and like you're hanging out with all your friends and you're going to a haunted maze or something. That's what this reminded me of. So I really like that one. I have a Rose Girls. This is my only Rose Girls I had this month. This is Espresso, Dunk My Donut, Cup of Cake, and Vanilla Bean Noel. This was for being an espresso blend, which is my personal favorite coffees of hers over like the Absolute Coffee. I feel like her espresso is a little bit more like realistic. Surprisingly enough, this was on the lighter side for me, and I don't know if it's because of the Cup of Cake and Vanilla Bean Noel kind of like made it like more of like a light creamier scent and not so boom heavy coffee in your face. But I'd say like this is a lower out of like low, medium, high kind of performance. This is kind of like low, but it was okay. Probably wouldn't seek that one out though. I have another scent that I got in that round robin. This is Pharmacist Daughter's Spellbound, which is pumpkin eggnog, vanilla custard, vanilla ice cream, and waffle cone. This was like a light medium kind of scent. And mostly it was just kind of like a creamy vanilla, which I actually enjoyed. But I didn't get a whole lot of like pumpkin. But it was vanilla custard, vanilla ice cream, waffle cone, all like kind of vanilla bakery kind of a vibe. And then the pumpkin eggnog was just like creamy. I didn't get a lot of spice, which I liked. It was just mostly like a creamy vanilla scent. So it was nice. I don't know if I'd seek that one out though. I have a ton of VCS also. So this month I had a ton, and I was really trying to test out the shelf life and see if the performance got better because it sat longer. And I can happily report back, I think my VCS does better. And I don't know if it's because, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, I don't remember if I mentioned at the beginning of this video or not, but I think I mentioned like the air hasn't been on. It's kind of more like stagnant air in here. So there's not like a ton of movement, which I think is helping the performance of my wax. But I'm not sure if it's that or that having this sit over a year helped because it was, you know, just getting stronger. I had these all double bagged for the whole year. And then I definitely remember some of these last year didn't perform as well. And then this year I felt like they were performing better. So that was great. So let's talk about them. I have Craven, which is warm spices, sugared apples, and vanilla ice cream. This was just kind of like an apple-y cobbler kind of scent, like a warm cooked baked apple scent. And this one did really well, lasted an entire evening. And I typically switch out my melts. I'll like start it in the morning, switch it out like after, like right before dinner-ish, and then let it ride out for the rest of the night. So I swap like once a day. And this was like an evening melt for me, and I really enjoyed it. It just reminded me of like a Thanksgiving baked good. So that one was good and a great performer. This one is Haddonfield, which is toasted marshmallow cake drizzled with blood red strawberries. I love how this one smelled on cold, and I feel like it maybe did better last year. So I don't know. Now I'm saying this and I'm not sure. Things are weird. But then I felt like this one didn't perform that well this year. I felt like it was lighter, like light. But I do really think VCS's strawberry is really, I think that she's got a really good strawberry. So whenever I could catch a scent of this, I did really enjoy it, but it was definitely not the strongest out of all of these bags that I'm going to share. This one is Gale Weathers, campfire, soft sandalwood, toasted marshmallows, and smoky vanilla. I love this. I have this finishing up in my living room or my bedroom warmers right now. And it's just like this almost like perfumed kind of like smoky vanilla. Like this is something that I would definitely wear like on my body. Really, really enjoyed this. I would pick up more of this. And that one's like a medium, I'd say probably just like a medium performance. It's not overly strong, but it's not super light. So I'm happy with that one. This one is Halloween H2O, which is delicious pumpkin and fragrant spices in a nutty vanilla base with a slightly woodsy base. I feel like this one is a single fragrance oil that I've smelled before. I think this is the one it's like clove, nutmeg, bourbon, oak. I think that's what this one is. Either way, if it's not, maybe I'm going crazy, but I really did enjoy this. And if I can figure out what maybe that one single oil is called, then maybe I'll like leave it. I'm guessing that that's what this is. Either way, it's like warm and like, it's not masculine by any means, but I feel like there's like this, like if like a wood, I think it's woodsy. I think that's like maybe what's making me think masculine because it smells like outdoorsy woodsy. But it's not like tree pine woodsy. It's like trunk, bark, like fresh cut wood, not fresh cut wood, but like woodsy, mixed with like that pumpkin and like the nuttiness, and the spices. It works. It's a great scent. This one I also think is maybe a, like a single fragrance oil, and it reminds me a lot of Voodoo from that Smell Good shop. This one is The Fog, which is sweet dark spices, smoky patchouli, cedarwood, violet, cinnamon, and clove. This is an incredible, incredible, incredible scent. And I love Voodoo, and I feel like this and that one I think are the same. And if they're not exactly the same, then they're very similar, and I totally recommend either of these because of the smells like Halloween night, because the patchouli is dark and rich, but you get like these like spices in there that like helps like make it like multi-dimensional and just really wonderful, and I totally enjoyed that. I have 1-2 Freddy's Coming For You, which is pumpkin layer cake with cream cheese frosting and a hint of caramel pecan and marshmallow. This one, I remember last year, I said on the back, didn't last super long, and it's same. It kind of fizzled out very quickly, but when it was going, it was a delicious, like very, very much a pumpkin bakery scent, whereas like, I don't remember the other one I talked about that was like supposed to be like a pumpkin bakery. Who even knows now? This one was like pumpkin first and then like warm bakery after. So really enjoyed this one. Also, this one is Fiona the Supreme Witch Embeds and Sanderson Sister Overpour, which was a huge mix of things. So it was cider cupcakes with cream cheese frosting, Granny Smith apples, and waffle cone pieces, green apple, candy corn, caramel, and marshmallow. So tons of stuff, but it was definitely more of that tart candied kind of green apple vibe. With like maybe like a little bit of like a bakery sweetness, but mostly it was like that tart kind of candied green apple. Kind of reminded me of like those caramel green apple lollipops that you get around this time of year. I liked this a lot. Maybe would pick up more of that. And then Elm Street. This one is a creamy fall blend of hints of pumpkin, caramel, pecans, and marshmallows. And I also enjoyed this one too. I feel like this one is kind of similar to that 1-2 Freddy's Coming For You. And they might even have, it might be like one of these is like an addition of something, like there might be something added in this, but it's the same blend. So essentially the same kind of a scent, both like kind of like fizzled quickly, but when I did smell them, I loved it. So that was all of my VCS. I would say what I plan on doing if I plan to buy more VCS in the future, I think I will mostly stick to her fall blends because I think that the non-crazy airflow of like the AC helped it. And I think I would let it sit for a year. I would, like what a lot of people do with the bathing garden is like they'll buy it, they'll like let it sit for a year and then bust it out the next year. I think I would do that with my VCS. I think that that really helped and I totally enjoyed so much of it this year. It was great. So I have some Britas. I had a lot of stuff in this melting basket from Brita's advent calendar for Halloween last year and also the advent calendar that I picked up from Lurid Apothecary, which she's no longer in business. So I'm going to start with the Britas and then move on to the Lurid. But I want to say most of these were from those advents. So I have Area 51, which is absinthe, mac, apple, and fizzy pop. And I want to say absinthe has like a black licorice type of scent because I picked that up, a lot of that mixed with fizzy pop. It was like almost like a limey, black licorice fizzy type scent. This definitely wasn't a favorite scent of mine, but it worked really well in the bathroom because it kind of gave like this fresh, clean, almost like a stringent cleanery type of vibe. So it's not like I'm not a huge fizzy pop fragrance oil lover, but I enjoyed it for like what it was. And the little shapes in here were like little potion bottles and I thought it was so cute, which Brita stuff, I also came to find her stuff has really good shelf life, so that was great to figure out. This one is also from the Advent. I think it's Dead Children's Playground, which is Fruity Pebbles, Bite Me, and Sweet and Creamy. And Bite Me, I think, is like a cherry blend. This also wasn't a huge love of mine, but I'm not also a huge breakfast cereal fragrance lover fan. And the Fruity Pebbles just was like, it was a little too cherry heavy, like fruity. It was too fruity, too much fruit for me in this time of year. I think if I melted this during the summer months, I maybe would have been more okay with it. But it was just, I wasn't like in the right mindset for it. So performed amazing, definitely very strong, but just wasn't like, I wasn't feeling it that day. That's my own fault. This one is Witch of the Hampton, which is peach nectar and sweet pumpkin. This is a very interesting scent. I remember melting some of it last year and just being like so shocked by the way that it combined. But it was like the sweet, juicy peach with like the spiciness of a pumpkin. Really interesting blend. I don't know if I loved it. I don't think I would seek it out, but I totally applaud like the unique blending. I thought it was really cool. This is Boy in the Bathroom, which is blueberry, blue sugar, yellow cake, and toasted marshmallow. Once again, not like a scent that's like my personal vibe, but this was, keep in mind, all in Advent, so it was all mystery scents, so I didn't get to pick these. So not all were going to be scents that I loved, but I still think overall, like the performance of these, they all did really, really well. I just don't love like the blue sugar mixed with like bakery. It was like a little too like, it was sickeningly sweet for me. I don't know. Because I love bakery, but that one just like did something to my stomach I didn't like. And I think it was just a blue sugar. On the opposite side, I have, okay, so this is the Exorcist. This was a sample shape. I actually just added this to the other bag of the Exorcist, and I'm going to put that in my next melting basket. So I have an empty bag, but I'm still working on that one. And then 2 of these were, well, this one actually. Let's talk about this one first. This is Babushuk, which is, to my nose, kind of similar to the Exorcist. So the Exorcist is like a patchouli, mainly patchouli heavy scent mixed with a little bit of like creaminess. But when I melt it, I feel like it's patchouli first and then like added, like creamed up by other things. But then Babushuk is patchouli, sugar, cookie, sweet and creamy, and vanilla bean marshmallow. And I feel like this one is more sweet and creamy with a little kiss of patchouli. So if you like the Exorcist, but you think it's too strong on the patchouli, then I feel like you would probably like this because it is the opposite. These are like kind of like twins, but this one is more heavy on the sweet side, and then this one is like more heavy on like the patchouli earthy side. So love these both. Would definitely pick up both of these anytime. Think they're great scents. And then this one is Ohio State Reformery, which is cinnamon glazed baklava, hot apple pie, funnel cake, and vanilla ice cream. And this one I did also really enjoy. It just added like a sweet bakery, but like a cinnamon bakery kind of scent in the air, which normally I'm not huge on cinnamon bakery, but I felt like this one worked really well. So that was wonderful. And now to talk about all of my Lurid. So I think that I finished up all of my Lurid right now. I could be wrong, but I went through every single bag from that sampler, Halloween sampler advent, and I had a great time with it. So I think I kind of figured out what works best for my Lurid Apothecary stuff, and I felt like I was using too little of the little brittle pieces before to really get a great performance. And then this year I didn't hold back. I used like bigger chunks of it, and it felt like it performed better. And I also don't know if having it sit longer helped it perform better or really what. But these did great. So I'll go through these quickly. I have Zombie Crawl. This is Jolly Rancher candy and lollipops. This one was okay, but it was, I'm not super big on like the candy scents all the time. So this one was just okay for me. Performed great though. This one is Candy Smash, which is Skittles, fruit candy, and sugar. I think out of both of these kind of candy type ones, I feel like I preferred the Candy Smash one. It was definitely, I think, a little bit better, but either way, I don't think I would actively seek out like candy like blends in the future. I think I'm learning things about myself this past month. This one, amazing. This is the Craft, which was candy corn and bourbon butterscotch. This was absolutely phenomenal. Was the perfect amount of sweet without being sickeningly sweet. I loved it. I have Boil and Bubble. This is Twilight Type, Cashmere, and Silk. This one was very, very light last year, and I remember putting it in my bathroom, and it was very, very light this year. So I think this was just a light scent in general. And I wrote light, but okay, clean, fresh bathroom scent. Totally same exact thoughts. This one was Happy Halloween, which was buttery popcorn, green apple candies, and caramel crunch. This was another one kind of similar to that, the Craft, which I felt like was like the perfect amount of sweetness. I didn't get a whole lot of buttery popcorn, which I was nervous about. This one was just really, really great. Smashing Pumpkins. This was marshmallow, pumpkin latte, and sugar donuts. I also enjoyed this one, although I think that the marshmallow latte scent is a little bit sick, almost sickeningly sweet, so it was right on the edge, but I think that the sugar donuts helped. I have Blood Bag, which is vanilla bean noel, toasted marshmallow, and churro caramel drizzle. This one, I feel like was kind of like a middle of the road scent. Wasn't super, super strong, not like Happy Halloween or the Craft. Those were definitely the stronger ones. And I think I'm also learning that I don't love the toasted marshmallow fragrance oil. I think I prefer like Marshmallow Fireside or Campfire marshmallows where it's a little bit more smoky. This one was almost kind of same thing as the other one, like the sickeningly sweet kind of quality of like the latte. Sometimes I feel like my nose is so sensitive about like specifically like marshmallow or like lattes, and if it's too sweet, it kind of sometimes can turn my stomach. So those I was a little bit sensitive over, but that's okay. I have Tombstone, which is Autumn Nights type. Whatever Autumn Nights is, I don't know if it's like a dupe for like maybe a Bath and Body Works scent or what, but it is. It's like a cologne-y, kind of perfumey, like deep, like, I don't know, it's clone-y, perfumey kind of a scent. And that one was like very strong. So same as last year, very, very strong. I have Eye of Newt, which is honey, pear cider, and green apple. I loved the way that those blended together, and it was great. Is honey pear cider like a Scentsy dupe, right? Honey pear cider? I think it is. But either way, it was just like a really delicious drinkable cider mixed with like the green apple. Kind of smells like pear and apple kind of go hand in hand, and that I really enjoyed. Haunted Forest, this one wasn't something I loved, but it performed really, really well. It was cinnamon, warm spices, and a hint of cedar. Interesting scent, definitely kind of reminded more of like wintertime scents, but it was good. And then As Above, which is santal, sandalwood, and vanilla. This one was really nice. It was kind of like, reminded me of a scent that you would smell in like a fancy hotel, kind of like a, I don't know, fancy hotel scent. Really liked it. All of these, I feel like I enjoyed more this year than I did last year. Don't know why, but kind of same as I did with the VCS. I double bagged these and I stored them all in the same spot. So maybe having it sit helped. I don't know. Or maybe it's that I was using more this year and I was using too little of it last year. Either way, really enjoyed this whole advent calendar. It was a success for me. And then all of the rest of these are Zape. I have a ton of Zape, and I'm pretty pumped about all of it. So let's talk about, I don't even know where to start. We'll talk about Beetlejuice first. So this is a scent that I stocked up on last year, and I don't think she brought it back this year, and I love this scent. It's dried leaves, smoky bonfires, and sweet vanilla bean. It just is like this kind of smoky scent, smells like Halloween night. I've said that about like the fog scent, like the patchouli scents, things that are like smoky, bonfire, patchouli, deep, heavy. Those things really kind of remind me of like trick-or-treating. Like when I was growing up, we'd like walk up and down the street and everyone would have their chimneys going. You would smell like the fires, going, and it reminds me of that. So really enjoyed this scent. I felt like this, in comparison to when I melted it last year, I think it was a little bit lighter, but either way, happy to have finished it up, and I have another bag to work on for the next melting basket. I have Haunted Circus, and I also have Clown Carnival. So both of these I feel like were also a little bit stronger last year. The Haunted Circus is funnel cake, mac apple, candy corn, and fall spices. I can't really place this one. I melted this one earlier on in this month, but I feel like this one was just kind of like a spicy, like funnel cakey scent, if I'm remembering properly. And then this one, Clown Carnival, is sweet, salty, kettle corn, spiced pumpkin, and creamy butternut. This one I do remember more than the other one. I think I preferred this one. It was definitely interesting because like that butternut, you don't see butternut a lot in like wax blends, but with the kettle corn, it did totally work. It was like this very like edible kind of like, almost reminded me of like a, what is like the pumpkin sweet potato pie with like marshmallows on top. And then it was almost like if you had like kettle corn on top of a sweet potato pie. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Another one that reminds me of sweet potato pie is Monster Mash. And this one's like a big waffle shape. Monster sweet potatoes, brown sugar, and a hint of fall spice. This was like sweet potato pie in a scent. Really enjoyed this one. Happy to have used it all. That was like, I had that going on a night that I was like watching some Halloween movie. Was it? I was watching some spooky Halloween movie and I was like melting that and it just smelled like fall bakery. So that was really good. This is Trick or Treat. This was salted caramel, waffle cones, toasted marshmallow, and chocolate fudge. The chocolate fudge was very strong in this, but it was a good realistic chocolate. But then that toasted marshmallow is that one fragrance oil that I don't love. So I liked the chocolate in this. I didn't love that specific toasted marshmallow oil, but overall I felt like it did help balance it. I don't know if I'd actively seek this out again, but I'm happy to have used it up. Black Magic Chai. This one is the standout. I love the scent. It is phenomenal, amazing. I love this. I got 2 bags of it this year when it came back. It's spiced chai, creamy caramel, sweet candied apples, and Halloween pumpkins. I don't know if it's at all available in any form on the website, but if it is, go grab it. This is an amazing, amazing scent. I've said it before, it reminds me of like a chai tea latte with like cooked apples dumped in it. There's like a drink around us, this like apple chai of my eye. It's a chai tea latte with like apple pie filling in it, and it smells just like that. Like the way that that tastes smells like that. It's so good. This is Kruger's Orchard, which is apple cider donuts, Macintosh apple, and vanilla bean. This is just like a really great apple bakery scent. Very, very, very sweet. So, and also very appley. It's like, it's a darn good apple bakery scent. It's almost like a fresh apple and apple cider donuts kind of like blended together. It's great. Love that one. This is Salem. Salem is clove, cinnamon spice cake, and vanilla buttercream. This one just kind of reminded me of like a spice cake. I was nervous because like the spice cake is like, you see spice sometimes like listed as a scent and you're like, ooh, I'm a little nervous. And so I did that for this, especially with the clove and spice cake, but it totally worked and the buttercream helped balance it. It smelled like a delicious like homemade cake, the spice cake. It was really good. Liked that a lot. I have 2 more left. So this one is Franken cake, which is banana nut bread, pumpkin streusel, and caramel drizzle. This one, I remember the same thing happened last year that happened this year. It initially, when you melt it, it's like, oh my gosh, incredible, so good. And you smell a lot of the banana nut bread. But then the banana kind of turns to like this weird banana scent. And then it also kind of burnt quickly, and then it kind of like didn't last super long. So that was a bit of a bummer. I wish that one initial, like the first like 2 hours of this was like the whole time kind of a thing. Cause then I would be like obsessed, but that's why I'm not like super obsessed, but I still really enjoyed it. And then finally, I think this is the last thing. I have Fright Night, and Fright Night is sweet pumpkin, buttercream, nutmeg, and cinnamon. And this one is like so yummy. There's like something about this. I don't know if it's like the nutmeg or what in here, but there's something almost like body care-esque about this. But it's like, I would like wear this on my body, but also like eat it. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like the, the pumpkin latte. I don't really know. It's like this warm, rich, inviting, but I feel like there's also like a tanginess in here. Maybe it's cinnamon. It kind of almost reminds me of like, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's really good. There's like something magical about this, and I really like it. So I also don't think that this one came back this year as well. This one and Beetlejuice I don't think came back this year, but if they did, I would have gotten more of them. And so that was it, you guys. That was my entire basket of empties for my vintage Halloween theme melting basket. Thank you guys so much for sticking through that probably very long video. I appreciate you guys watching and sticking around even though I've been like gone for forever. Hope you're enjoying the season. It's the best time of the year, and I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Bye guys.